step-by-step initiation into the spiritual world by interpreting the stages ancient initiates would follow in their ritual experience.
Now what I want to do is talk about this bowl. It's called a Pietro bowl. It was dug up about 100 years ago in Romania in a place called Pietro. It's a golden bowl dug up together with a whole hoard of gold objects. It was taken to the British Museum and reproduced. This is from the reproduction. During the First World War, when the Germans were moving into Romania, it was thought that it would be good to protect this from the Germans, who might take it and put it in the Berlin Museum, perhaps. So it was brought to Russia, together with the other gold pieces, where it was, of course, melted down into gold, so we don't have it. What we have to deal with is the reproduction. Here is the goddess seated in the center on the basket, with the vine that is to become the wine that is in the chalice here, or the grail. That's the Mother Universe, with the blood of her child, her son. Here is the vase itself. Now there are 16 figures round about. In the center is the goddess with the vase. And I've had this turned into a drawing so that we can go through the story step by step. And this will be our initiation. This is Orpheus. Orpheus the fisher. The theme of the fishing of fish out of the water into the light is associated with initiation. Here we are lost in the waters of ignorance, and Orpheus the fisher will fish us out. In the Grail romances, this is a theme related to the fisher king. In the Christian tradition, when Jesus called his apostles, who were fishermen, he said, I will make you fishers of men. That's the same Orphic idea. The Pope's ring is known as the fisherman's ring, and on it is an engraving of the Hall of Fishers. And so here we have Orpheus with his fishing rod, with the net, and under him here the fish. This now is the candidate bearing a torch. As he enters the sanctuary, he takes from a basket a cone, a pine cone. The basket is on the head of a door guardian. Here is one of these door guardians. This magnificent thing is in the museum at Eleusis. It's one of the pieces that was smashed by the zealots of love. The basket on the head is the sacred basket. This is in the Vatican. It's about 12 feet high. It is a bronze pine cone that was formerly in the Roman field of Mars. The pine cone is what was taken from the basket by the candidate. Why a pine cone? What is it that is important in a pine cone? What is important is the seed and not the cone. And so in each of us, what is important is the seed of consciousness which is to be released, the new Adam, the reborn one, after the death of the old. This is a Christian lamp of about the 3rd century, and what it represents is the Jonah legend as symbolic of the coming of the human out of the fish condition. And so you can take a legend and read into it a mystic reading, which may or may not have been there in the first place. The Jonah story of the missionary who was to go up to Nineveh or someplace like this, and then was a source of trouble to everyone. Evidently he was off-center, he was a negative presence, thrown overboard, consumed by a fish, and then out of the fish again. This is the night sea journey. It's an old story. Hiawatha was consumed by a fish. Raven, hero of the Northwest Coast Indians, was consumed by a fish, and so forth. This is the going down into the abyss, coming out again, the same mythology that we're dealing with here. And so our friend has taken the pine cone, and now, led by a female guide with the little pail of the elixir of immortality, he is brought to the sanctuary of the two goddesses. They are Demeter with the raven of death on her shoulder. She is the one in the field of birth and death, what we call the telluric earth, the earth from which the plants grow. And beside her then is Persephone with the torch, who represents the chthonic earth, the deep caves of the abyss. This is the first stage of his initiation. We do not know what the rites were that were associated with this pair, but we do know what the message is, to come into that harmonious relationship with these two aspects of our being. And then, when the hero has gone through this, he is symbolically older, and so is represented with a beard, being blessed then by Fortuna. Now that's his first initiation. That's the first grade of initiation through the goddesses. The second grade is now to come.